Friday, the 22nd of January, we learned at about 5:30 or so p.m. that Governor Cuomo had indicated that with approval from county departments of health and following state health and safety guidelines, the so-called high-risk sports could be approved in the state of New York in school districts. Welcome news to many student athletes and families, coaches, athletic directors. And then the question very quickly became, okay, now that it's up to the local health department, what do we need to do immediately to make sure that they have all of the information they need from local school districts to be able to make the best decision for our children? County Executive Vladimir and I connected Saturday morning. We connected again on Sunday, and as well as with the superintendents in Westchester County on Monday morning to discuss our next steps. We are working presently right now with Section 1 and the Section 1 Executive Committee to identify the best course of action related to these so-called high-risk sports and whether or not we're going to be able to offer them to our kids. I can tell you that everybody wants our children to have all of the opportunities that they should have, and at the same time, it's a struggle because we are still contending with COVID-19 every day in the school districts in the county. Those incidents of positive cases require contact tracing. In some instances, they require quarantine and isolation, maybe even closing of classrooms for a period of time due to personnel needs. There's a lot that goes into, as you know, public schooling, in-person public schooling during a pandemic, and athletics also kind of compounds those challenges. Not that it's good or it's bad, it just makes it a little bit more dynamic. So we are right now waiting to hear back from Section 1. We've collected information from the county school districts, numbers, and so on, and what folks think they would be able to do in terms of setting seasons up. We also recognize that we're in sort of a time crunch. The date was February 1, next Monday. It's unlikely that everything will be hashed out by February 1, but I will tell you that everybody's working as quickly as possible to have a plan in place that supports our kids as quickly as possible. So more to come on that. Right now, the so-called high-risk sports are all of those indoor sports that had presently not been able to go forward with a typical season. So you're thinking about basketball, you're thinking about hockey, you're thinking about wrestling, you're thinking about volleyball, you're thinking about those sports that sort of have a more football, more close contact, right, related to them. The second question is, are we thinking about opening up schools, facilities to all children every day? And the answer to that question, John, quite frankly, is yes, every single day. That's what we're thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. My goal personally, and of course there are a lot of considerations that could stand in the way of this, is to be able to welcome our children back in person every day this school year. Whether or not that's at the beginning of the spring or whether it's into the spring, as soon as we start hitting numbers in terms of our vaccination percentages of our eligible and willing adults, I want to be able to start moving back in that direction. This is the most pressing, the most important thing we've been thinking about over the course of these last 10, 11 months. We're closer today than we were yesterday, and that's good news. We are right now supporting our faculty and staff members as they go and get vaccinated. Of course, the supply chain for the vaccine, unfortunately, is not as robust. The rollout plan from a national level was fairly non-existent. We are fortunate that in the state of New York, we have good rollout for the vaccine that we have available to us. So for instance, at the county center, they put together a wonderful program infrastructure to get folks in, get them vaccinated, and get them out, and then get them scheduled for their next shot. That's great news. So as quickly as we can get more vaccine, I think that brings us quicker and faster toward a place where we'll be able to welcome all of our children back every day in person. I think there was another question here. Right, after the midwinter recess. Yeah, it would definitely be after midwinter recess. I think we're too close. Folks are still scheduled out for their first vaccination, even past into March. So again, supply chain issue, but something that we have to deal with. And the decision on sports, when will that be made? As soon as possible. I know the Executive Committee for Section 1 is meeting again tomorrow, Wednesday, the 27th of January. And as soon as we hear more information from them and the County Department of Health, and I should say that all these entities are working in concert. There is a great deal of collaboration, which is fantastic. We'll get that information out as quickly as possible. The good news is this: in the White Plains City School District, like in others in the region, even though there were not typical seasons scheduled for the high contact, high risk sports, we are offering off-season training, so our children are still having an opportunity to participate in training, and the hope is that they'll have an opportunity to participate in some semblance of a season. Again, making sure that the health safety standards that we're required to follow are being observed as well. I hope this answers all of your questions. Of course, I'm always available to you, John. Feel free to reach out anytime. Hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you soon. Stay WP proud. Talk to you. Bye-bye.